Hey guys, welcome back to Tip Tuesday. My name is Matthew Sturkey with Stone Mill Log and Timber Homes. Thanks for joining us. The last 4 weeks, we've talked about going off the grid. Before that, we talked about selecting the log profile that's right for you between log on log and our chink profile. And this week, we're going to start moving up the structure into the second floor system. And we've talked about log walls, we've talked about roof systems, but I want to talk about timber floor systems and selections between a timber second floor with a built-up floor, and then a conventional floor, and help basically give you some tips on selecting what's right for you. And because there's different options, it's not a one-size-fits-all. And typically with our what we call our premium package, a timber floor system is what is typically provided. And a timber floor system is made up, as you can see in this image, of a timber girder, timber ceiling beams. If there are any timber support posts that support that girder, those would be vertical supports that are exposed. And then there's a tongue and groove decking finish that goes on top. This is the structural floor, so it's the ceiling of the first floor and it's the subfloor of the second floor, and then you would put a finished flooring material down on top of that. The tongue and groove is not the finished floor of the upper level. So a timber floor system is generally made up of those components. And then with wiring considerations, you would typically have to rough in the top of the ceiling beam, or you'd have to route out the beam and the tongue and groove and run your electrical fixture either into the TNG or into a beam. So with a timber floor system, not only does it make up your structural floor, but it is also your subfloor for the second level for you to put down finished flooring. One of the things that we typically do, and a lot of clients will want to do a built-up floor on top of our timber floor. And what the build-up floor does, as you can see here in this image, is it gives you the ability for some MPE considerations. And what does that mean? Well, that means mechanical, plumbing, and electrical, especially with electrical. If you do typically a 2x4 turned on edge as a built-up false floor, that gives you an area that you can run electrical wiring. That gives you an area that you can insulate if you're trying to deaden some of that sound from the second floor to the first floor. And depending on the height of that built-up floor, you can also have some plumbing and mechanical considerations. Now, if you're going 4 inches on a built-up floor, you can't do plumbing and mechanical in that. But if you end up going 8, 10, or 12, then certainly that is a consideration that you can incorporate some plumbing and mechanical in, depending on the plan. So be thinking about that. Have that discussion with your sales consultant. That does affect the plan. It affects the staircase. It affects the number of treads that it takes in order to get from the first floor to the second floor. It affects your ceiling heights upstairs, so that has to be taken into consideration. So it's not without revisions or without changes to the plan. So be thinking about some of those things as well. But if you are looking for some recessed lighting, a timber floor system with a built-up false floor does give you the ability to do some recessed can lights like you can see here in this image. So that is definitely something to consider. And again, if you're trying to hide ductwork, or you're trying to hide some plumbing and you're trying to fur that up as opposed to furring that down, then a timber floor with a built-up floor on top is something to consider. And then a third option, this is another timber floor system that's in a kitchen. It's not built up, as you can see with this electrical fixture. And then a third option is just doing a normal conventional floor, like a 2x or a TGI or a pre-engineered truss that is actually hung typically on the inside of the log wall or sitting on top of the log wall. You can finish the ceiling with a tongue and groove finish. If you wanted to incorporate some drywall finish on the ceiling or some barnwood, this gives you some flexibility with finishes. It also gives you a cavity that you can insulate, that you can run plumbing in, mechanical in, and it gives you a cavity that you can run electrical in and do some recessed lighting, and gives you definitely some more options with mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. Yes, you do forego those exposed beams and the big timber girder. You could incorporate some decorative beams into a conventional ceiling, but when you start getting into conventional roof, floor systems with deco beams and deco girders, then you might as well just do a timber floor system. So those are the three main options: the timber ceiling with the built-up floor, and then the conventional floor option with other finish options for the bottom. So hopefully these are some options to get you thinking about what is best for you. There's going to be different cost considerations, different visual considerations for the finished product, and certainly different structural considerations to take into account. I would advise all of you to be talking with your sales consultant when you're going through the design process and you're getting ready to get started in design, to be talking about which option is going to be best for you. If that built-up floor is going to give you those mechanical, plumbing, electrical options, be talking about that so that can be incorporated early into the design. Don't wait till the last minute to be incorporating that into the design. So hopefully this has been helpful. As always, call us anytime with questions, with design details regarding the second floor system. And if there's anything we can consult and guide you with in this process, please let us know. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for joining us for Tip Tuesday this week. We look forward to you joining us more next week for Tip Tuesday. Until then, as always, stay safe and healthy, stay cool, and stay dry. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.